Rossoneri, Rossoneri family. How is everyone doing? We are live today and we are going to look at some news items that we're going to cover that have come out on 423. Just before, a few days before our clash against Lazio, it's going to be the last game of the match day. It's going to be Monday. It's going to be maybe the most important games of the season. Essentially, if Milan don't win, we might see ourselves in fifth position come Monday. So that is something to be wary of. Not good. But today, I'm going to do a quick live, and we're just going to focus on some news items that have come out. And nothing else, really nothing too crazy. We're going to do a short live. So the first thing I want to do, talk about the AC Milan renewal of Ibrahimovic. So Ibrahimovic officially renews for AC Milan. 7 million for one more year. At 40 years old, some people might be against that. Some people might be for that. He has missed most of the season at this point. And, is his age a problem? That's something to be asked, because it's good to have him there in the locker room, but we need him on the pitch. And he says in his latest interview, which I think you guys should check out, he claims that age doesn't matter. I think age does matter, and it definitely has mattered so far. So let me just go over a little bit of what he said in his interview. We're not going to look at the whole thing. We're just going to look at some parts of it. All right, here we go. Today, you still say yes to Milan. Do you do it with the enthusiasm of the first time? Ibrahimovic responded, I feel very happy. I say another year, and that's what counts. I've always said that being at Milan is like being at home. I'm very happy. The club, those who work here, my teammates, the coach, and fans who I miss so much make me feel good. This is like my home. If I can't stay my home life, I'll stay my whole life. Well, it's nice that Milan has all this love, that Ibra has all this love for Milan. I would love to see Ibra eventually go and be maybe a sporting director for the team, or like some kind of ambassador. I think he definitely has the qualities to do that. Then he was asked, can you imagine the reaction of every Milan fan to your renewal behind that camera? He says, I think it's a positive reaction. Everything will be happy. Even if someone had doubts, before I came back for my age, I proved that age doesn't matter. But here I disagree with him, because age does matter. He has missed maybe a little bit more than half the season. So it is definitely something to consider. He says age is all in the head. If you're willing to do certain things, you can do it. My mentality is that you must always improve and do the maximum possible. Then the quality on the pitch, either you have it or you don't have it. In my opinion, that doesn't go away. You need to be physically fit and in a position to be able to do your thing. Well, that's the problem. You got to be physically fit. So let's see what next year will bring. This year, you can argue that his age has been maybe somewhat of an issue as far as that goes. On the warm reaction of the fans on his return to Barcelona, from this, I feel welcome at Milan. Thanks to the fans, from the first day I had a top feeling. I'm always trying to give my best for them, because without them, it's not easy to play. With 80,000 people cheering you and wanting you on the pitch, it's another thing. They have always been respectful with me. When I play, I always try to do my best for everyone. This is my second round of Milan. They haven't forgotten me. I try to give as much as possible in return. Very good. Let's keep on going. When you arrive at Milanello every day, you see your teammates, the coach, and all the people who work. How do you still feel today? So Ibra responded to that. I try to help everyone. It is a motivation. It gives me adrenaline to see these young people and their growth. From the first day I arrived to today, I have seen the growth of each of them, all willing to do their best. Then, in my opinion, they understand the sacrifice that must be made to be where we are today. And yes, and we can see that there is definitely an impact. He definitely has had an impact, and it has been a positive impact, without a doubt. Hey, what's up, guys? We have Joel in the house. I hate to say it, but man, this season is starting to remind me more of the 2019 season. Joel, let's have faith. We still have, I believe, 6 matches before the end of the season, and we will achieve our objectives. Happy you guys are live. Hello, Christian Mazzino. How are you? All right, let's keep on going. Do you like the project of Young Milan? This is a good question, a question that I feel is very interesting. Yes, because this is how I feel young, he laughs. Every day I see my teammates, they make me feel young. Then there is a lot of challenge and competition. When they run, I have to run like them. I can't be outdone. They challenge me, they get the best out of me. Well, they're also forcing you to injure yourself in training more than you should. Then every now and then I exaggerate. Maybe I have to be more calm, but this is my mentality. I like this new AC Milan project. This is very important, what he says here. I like this new AC Milan project because it's a different challenge. I was used to playing with great champions who've won everything. This is another situation. You have other responsibilities. So, he's being very realistic. He very much has been very realistic about the team. And it is true. This team is not formed of champions. This team is formed of potential champions, which is very different from what we have seen in his past. Peter Shoop, should Ibra choose his successor at striker this summer? Probably Ibra is going to have a say in it. I would imagine he's going to have a say in it. I imagine that Ibra is going to start to get into the inner workings of the club. It seems to me like Ibra has married himself to this club, and his relationship with this club is going to go beyond just the football pitch, but it's going to be in the offices, maybe a scout, or maybe some kind of ambassador. I think whether or not he chooses his successor, I think he's going to have a say in it, probably. Let me continue. When you play with great champions, everything is resolved on the pitch, where it is different. You have to take responsibility to show what the road to success is. If you have already done this road, you have experience, and I want to pass it on to everyone in this team. And he has done that. He has definitely passed on his experience to everybody on the team, and we have seen that. Christian Pazimino says, did you read that Milan already has a new goalkeeper on stand from Lille, like personal agreements have been accepted? It's on Sempre Milan website. Yes, I have read that, and I actually I am going to be reporting on that towards the end. But today I didn't want to really focus too much on the transfer market rumors. But I do have that report, Christian Pazimino. Thank you for bringing that up. On his famous goal against Lecce. Now, do you guys remember his beautiful goal against Lecce, the one where we saw Galliani just go crazy? It was very similar to his first goal with Galaxy. Very interesting. It was 10 years ago when I ran more and I could attack the spaces laughs. The ball had arrived. I saw that the goalkeeper was out, and I said, let's try. If it goes in. Otherwise, there's no problem. I like that attitude. And it went in. When you score these goals, and it doesn't happen every day, it gives you a special feeling. When he doesn't go in, you look like someone who has nothing to do with football. But when he comes in, you're a genius. And at that moment, I was a genius. I like that. Youssef, what's up? I have done research on Elliott, and they're loaded, man. But they have history in being too conservative and don't like spending a lot. Well, Elliott in America, actually, this hedge fund does not have a good reputation. They actually have a pretty poor reputation as far as buying out manufacturing businesses in small towns in America that have caused a lot of jobs to disappear. So they don't have a very good reputation in America in total. But yes, this is a very rich company, but because it is a hedge fund, it is in their interest to to make the value of AC Milan gain more. So at least we can look at that. We can be positive of that. We can be positive about that. Um, let's keep on going with this interview. Is the fact that your teammates follow you and everything also confirmed by the fact that those who did not do cryotherapy before now do it? So cryotherapy is when you, I believe, cryotherapy is when you when you bathe in ice. I believe I can't judge how it was before I came. When you're a leader and you're an example, if they respect you, they follow you. But there's no need to talk so much. They have this respect and they say to themselves, if he does it and has won so much, then it's the right way. Words are not enough. You have to do the facts. I was lucky enough to play with champions when I was young. I watched and followed them. Now I have a different role. The others follow me, and I'm trying to do everything to help. Then everyone rightly has their own personality and character. I like the fact that Ibrahimovic is this huge character, and he totally goes with it. He is like a WWE personality. He is this larger than life charisma, and I love how narcissistic and egoistic he is. I love that. P. Shoot. Cryotherapy is the reason for all the injuries. Maybe. Who knows? Speaking about injuries, I have been following Milan for almost more than 30 years now. And these last 10 years, maybe even so, these last 20 years, Milan always seems to be one of the teams that suffers the most injuries. I've always thought, has it got to do with Milanello? Is there something happening on the pitches, maybe in the gyms, or there's something that is going on there? Because it's not normal. All right, this is a very good question. If you try to close your eyes, where will you and Milan arrive together? Let's see. I see great things. When I go to the middle of the championship, and if you look up to a year later, we were always first. If this had started earlier today, there would have been another trophy on the showcase. But now we have to continue. Normally, if you do well for a year, you get something. But now we have done well for a year, and it's not finished yet. Interesting. Milan had this amazing spell, but it ended just when this season started to get pretty challenging. And it ended in the key moments of the season. It is close. We must continue like this and believe, because if you believe, nothing is impossible. We demonstrated when many spoke and judged this Milan, blah, 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 blah. We on the pitch gave all the answers. We have worked with sacrifice and shown that we can do it. Then when you win something, you're hungry. You always want more. That's the secret. But first, you have to win. Absolutely. Here it is. Very important question. A question that will only count with results, not words. We must believe in what we do. If we continue to believe in it, then we will succeed. Nothing is finished yet. Nothing is impossible. Everyone has their own goals. My goal is to win. If I don't win, there is disappointment. But this is my mentality. Everyone has their own. We have to believe it. This is the secret. And I think belief is a word that I've seen Maldini use a lot. And just basically holding on to your faith in yourself, in the team, in the project, and your teammates. So believing is a big part of it. Is definitely a big part of it. Okay, so we can move on from Ibrahimovic. Let's see if there are any questions that we can also see that it might be interesting. Does the same answer apply one day you were asked to be a coach? I wonder, would Ibrahimovic be a good coach? I can say yes or no, because if I say yes, I do it by word of a gentleman. Being a coach is not easy because it's more stressful than being a football. Now, I have experience of coaching football, and I got to say, coaching football is one of the most satisfying things in the world. Managing a whole group of people and watching the development of players and teaching your players the way you want them to play, and watching your players, become brothers and create that chemistry is truly a sensational feeling. So, is it more stressful than being a footballer? I mean, yes, because every time a team loses, it's on the coach. When the team wins, it's because the striker was great, and then the coach gets a little bit of reprieve. But the being a coach, it's always your fault, no matter what. He says it's because it's more stressful than being a footballer, because you have to transform all your information on others, and they have to do what you say, but you never know. So that's the thing about being a coach. You have to be able to read your players, and you have to be able to read how they think and how they communicate, and then you have to understand what and how information, and how they absorb information. For example, let's say I had some players, like for example, my best players, usually I don't really talk too much to them because I don't need to talk to them too much to them. I like to put them in the positions where they do the best, especially the strikers. Strikers, that people that score goals always have a mindset that you have to literally caress, and you have to be very careful on how you talk to them and how you express your feelings to them. But each position is different. Like, for example, the defenders, you have to be a piece of shit with the defenders. You have to talk to them really hard. You have to really get in their head, because defensive work and the midfielders, it's all about fighting. It's all about the fight, because when you don't have the ball, if you don't have that fighting mentality, you're not going to be successful as a team. So you really have to get into the head of your defenders and the goalkeeper too, because you need the goalkeeper to be focused and in sync with that defensive line. The midfielders. Now, the attacking players, instead, you have to talk to them almost as if they are children, and that works better. Saif, what's up, my man? I'm not being delusional, but I'm not worried at all versus Lazio. I think we will win because we always play well away from home. That is true. Our away form has been absolutely astonishing. I think out of 15 games, we have won 13. That's a crazy record. If only we could. I mean, how is that even possible? How is that even possible? You win 13 games away out of 15 at home, away from home, but in home we've won 7 games out of 16 or 17, I believe. 7 games, guys. It doesn't make any sense. There's no fans. It's the same pitches. It's the same people. How are things changing? Why are things changing from when we are playing away to when we're playing in the home? I'm positive, and it is not like we will lose versus Atalanta and Juve away. I think we will get a positive result from one of the two. I like your positivity. I definitely like your positivity, and I think that's what Milan has to be. We have to be positive. But I also want to say something, that this could be a little bit of a criticism. For example, I remember, just as my experience also, but also I remember like Allegri, and how Allegri likes to always view the Serie A, the league, as a marathon stages. Each part of the season is a stage. And if Pioli doesn't get into their heads right now that these games are crucial, there could be a problem. Pioli must not. He definitely must not be too soft with the players, because I remember like Allegri. One thing I remember Allegri when he won the Scudetto, he said that towards the end the players were so intense. They were so intense that they had to stop the trainings. I don't know if you guys remember this back in 2011 when the journalists were asking them questions. They're saying the players were training so intensely that they had to stop the trainings. And I'm looking at the AC Milan trainings. I'm looking. Everybody is laughing. Everybody is happy. Let's see if this mentality is going to work. In my opinion, these are 6 games. These are finals. And you have to go for them with the intent to kill. You have to go for the jugular. If you had to give a guess on why we're losing home, what would it be? Maybe I can imagine them being a little bit too soft at home, thinking that they have the home advantage psychologically, while other teams that come to the San Siro are just motivated to be playing in the San Siro. And instead, when Milan goes to play in away, they're psychologically automatically more motivated to perform because they're not in their own territory. It is normal human psychology to be more comfortable in your own territory and to be more maybe on edge when you're in the territory of others. Maybe that's the explanation, but that's definitely not an excuse. Joseph P. Abate, who I know very well from the comments, not a few days ago, a person that is very angry at me. I've had people suggest Pioli should drive the boys around the city for hours before a home match. I feel like I was harsh the other day. Yes, a little bit, but it's okay, Joseph. We're all good. And we're going to get to the ECL towards the end of the stream. So maybe we can talk a little bit more there about the ECL. And maybe we can even have you guys join the live and have 1v1s and see what you guys think. Saif Najjar says, truth is we do not know how to break teams down at the San Siro. So playing away from home lets us play our game well. What do you think? But the question is why? Why can't we break teams down at the San Siro? We should be able to do that as easily as we do it away from home. It's unexplainable. It's unexplainable. You just... It has to be a psychological thing there. And maybe we have to also blame the coach, because it is the coach's job to make sure that the players are always focused, that the players are always, with their head straight. So if we were to point the finger at someone, maybe the coach, maybe the whole coaching staff is not communicating or transmitting the way the team should perform at the San Siro? Or is it just the players? Is it just that the players feel they're invincible at the San Siro and therefore they let their guard down? And while, as I said before, other teams come to the San Siro all gung-ho. If we lose against Lazio, then 90% we're out of top 4. If we lose against Lazio and the other teams get the results, we go to 5th place. So it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. If we lose against Lazio, we go to 5th place, and that is not going to be nice. More distractions at home. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Like just coming, I wonder if they should probably stay at the club at Milanello 2 days prior to in these last games. I think Milan should go what we say in Italian on ritiro. They should all be at Milanello for these last games, and just stay there and focus on these last 6 games. If you think about it, we have played terrible even against Genoa when we won. It took a screamer from Rebic and a lucky goal. Yes, exactly. Against Genoa, that was such a lucky win. because I was looking at Genoa play that game. I wasn't able to see the full game, but I saw part of it, and I was so surprised at how much pressure Genova was putting on AC Milan. The players of Genoa were running like maniacs. It was incredible to see how much more hungry they looked. Um, it's unexplainable. I can't explain it. I really can't explain it. Gisborne says Ibra should lead the team now and show why he deserves the renewal, because the rest of the game now are like a final for me. Yes, we have 6 finals, and we can't screw them up. And you know what, guys? Out of all the clubs that we are competing for, we have the most difficult fixtures. Hopefully, this is going to motivate AC Milan even further. I think Milan plays a bit more passive at home. For example, more back passes, playing too comfy. Yes, this is what's going on. I mean, that could be the only explanation, and that's where we have to look at the coaching staff, at the club. You know, what are we transmitting to these players? Every team that plays us at the San Siro has a simple tactic. They just sit back and defend the first half. Absolutely, good observation, Said. They go at it the beginning of the second and catch us by surprise. We don't have game changers, and that's another problem there. Like, this is it does seem to be a pattern that the first halves Milan does really well, and then the second half, when Milan starts to run out of gas, but then that's where the coach comes in, and the coach's changes, his tactical changes, even just moving a player from here to there. Obviously, it's easy to say here for us. It's much more difficult when you're out there on the pitch and you're directing and you're managing the team. Everything. It's easy for us to just say what is the right thing, but it comes down to what is the coach going to do to adjust the game. What is the second half talk like? How does the coach inspire the team to fight in the second half? It's Pioli's shitty subs, playing players like Krunic plus Ibra and Benacer injuries. Yes, and I want to look at the tactics Pioli adopted for this last game. We're going to look at them and we're going to analyze them together and see what we think. There's only one explanation to why we keep losing at home. Lukaku. Lukaku's mom did a voodoo and put it in San Siro. It is very much so possible. Nice. Okay, let's keep on going with a little bit of Ibrahimovic. I have this really cool thing that they did on the website that I want to share. And we're just going to look a little bit of it. And then I want to move on to the other topics, because we have some very interesting topics to look at. Okay. Let's see. AC Milan website. Did a really nice piece on Ibrahimovic. And I want to just show you. Really cool. And before we do that, Joseph Piabate says, thoughts on Hagway being loaned out? Why has he struggled to get time? To give Pioli some benefit of the doubt, is there something we might not know? I mean, that area of the field, you have Rebic, you have Leao, that are obviously dominating that area of the field right now. They have more experience in Serie A. I think that has got to do with it. So, Hagway is not being given any precedence. He's kind of, the third choice. But the numbers are on Hagway's side. The numbers are actually, I think in Serie A, Hagway has one of the best numbers as far as minutes and stats as a sub. Obviously, I think that the number one has to be Muriel. I think Muriel has to be the number one. But Hagway is definitely up there as far as stats. He scored some important goals. I've read Çalhanoğlu that he told Hagway not to go out on loan. So I'm assuming that the idea of him going on loan is a possibility. If he does go on loan, it's okay, because if we look at Suso, when Suso came to Milan, he was like a whatever kind of player. He didn't even have the same impact as Hagway had when Suso started at Milan. But then Suso went on loan. He came back, and after his loan, after his experience at Genoa, Suso became, for that period, one of maybe Milan's most important player. So maybe a loan for Hagway could be very interesting. It depends on, also what they do in the transfer market. Roy, am I crazy when I say that Pato back then was more impressive than Mbappé now? I really believe that. The guy was just box office. Yeah, Pato, at 16, if you guys remember his debut, I believe his debut was against Napoli, where he just took the AC Milan universe by surprise with incredible plays. And that season, he scored incredible goals in the Champions Leagues against Barcelona, that incredible counterattack goal where he pushed the ball around the defender there and with speed. Unfortunately, maybe Pato was too young. Maybe Pato, at the age of 22, Pato already was married and divorced, lived all around the country. At the age of 22, Pato is already like an experienced man. Maybe Pato's life just came to him way too hard for him to manage. But the injuries, the way they managed Pato did not work, and it just did not work. I'm already Pioli out. Even if we get top 4 this season, I would like to see a new coach next season, Allegri or Sarri. I do not want Allegri. I'm going to tell you right now, I do not want defensive coaches. Even when Milan won that year, I was super happy. I remember being drunk on the streets and shouting like a maniac. People wanted to kill me because it was it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was coming back from the bars and I was singing the Milan songs, in the dead of night, just top of my lungs. And people were coming out on their balconies telling me to shut up. And I was like, I didn't give a fuck. I just kept on going. But that season, Milan did not play. I didn't like the way Milan played. I don't like Allegri's vision. I like the way he manages a team, and I like the way Allegri manages a season. He's very smart how he manages a season. Incredibly smart. Very similar to Conte in a way, but his style of play is just not for me. I don't like it. And Krunic should never play there. And Krunic, exactly. And Krunic, when Krunic was put on the left against Sassuolo, that left side completely got dominated. So, yes. Hey, are Milan quit European Super League? David Beck, we are going to look at that. That is going to be one of the last topics. Let me just get to this topic right here. I want to share this really nice presentation that Milan did. So August 2010, 29. This is Milan signing his presentation at the San Siro. He came straight from Barcelona, I believe, right? Because he was at Inter, then he did his spell at Barcelona, and then he came to us. And his first night, Milan won 4-0. September 11, on the second match day of the season, the number 11 made his official debut with AC Milan at the Manuzzi in Cesena. However, it was an unfortunate evening, ending with a defeat. So, we speak about Milan losing to teams, even though we have these youngsters. and we complain when our youngsters can't beat, let's say Sassuolo or whatever. But back then, this team lost against Cesena. In 2010, we had Seedorf, we had Pirlo, we had Gattuso, we had Nesta, we had Maldini. I think we had Maldini, maybe not. We had, I think that season we had the Robinho, or no, that was the season before. I'm not sure. But we had a super stacked team, and still we could not win against teams like against Cesena. September 15, 2010, first win and first goal, all in one night. The first match day of Group G in the Champions League is played against Auxerre at San Siro, with Zlatan scoring a decisive brace in the second half. And guys, look at there. Right there, yes. I think I remember this game. Yes, Kevin Prince Boateng. Had a big impact in this game. We had Kevin Prince Boateng, who had that incredible 2010 World Cup. It just came with us. His first derby, Inter Milan, the night of the derby, Zlatan played his first intercity derby with the Rossoneri and decided the game with a penalty at the beginning of the first half. And if you guys remember the highlights of that game, you had... I believe the goalkeeper. Well, this doesn't look like the same goal. I can't remember the name of the goalkeeper of Inter, but they had that little discussion. They were kind of bantering to each other, and then he scored. And this was the night Ibrahimovic kicked Cassano in the head. Do you guys remember that? Was this it? Yes, I believe so. This is the night that Ibrahimovic did that karate kick right on Cassano's head. 7th of May 2011, Roma 0-0 at the Olimpico. Yes, a draw was enough for the Rossoneri to celebrate their team Scudetto with 2 games to spare. AC Milan crowned Italian champions again for the first time in 7 years. Ibra ended the season with 14 goals and 12 assists, double digits on both offensive stats there. Excellent. August 2011, the first official trophy was decided in Beijing with goals from Ibra and Boateng. AC Milan overturned Inter's opener, scored by Snyder, and won the Italian Super Cup. So the next season, AC Milan won that Super Cup. March 2012, beat Palermo, and this was Zlatan's first hat-trick. Yes. The absolute star of the evening was Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who scored his first hat-trick. Then 2012, AC Milan Roma, an important comeback victory against the Giallorossi. Ibra scored a brace, bringing him up to 50 goals, half a century of goals with AC Milan. And then he left. That was the end of Berlusconi's Milan. That was the end of an era. Ibrahimovic leaving AC Milan and Thiago Silva that year was the end of one of the greatest footballing cycles that football had ever seen. Started in 1988 and finished in 2012. An incredible run. And now today, it's the responsibility of Maldini and these new players and Ibrahimovic to bring back those incredible cycles back to AC Milan. 2019, Zlatan is back after he played in the US. He actually played here in LA, right next to me. I never got to see him play. I don't support LA Galaxy. I don't give a fuck about LA Galaxy. I think MLS is a pretty shitty league, to be honest with you. No offense to them, and no offense to American football or soccer. It's just the level is pretty low, and it's not very entertaining, the tactics, the plays. But he came here in the US and just completely demolished everybody at the age of, 37, 38. And January 6, 2020, AC Milan versus Sampdoria is a fixture that marked Ibra's official return to the San Siro. Yes, sir. January 11th, in his second official match, Ibra immediately found the net, scoring to make it 2-0 away to Cagliari. Assist from Theo Hernandez. And when Milan came back, it is kind of funny. It is kind of funny that it is actually kind of interesting and funny that when with Ibrahimovic's departure, that was the end of AC Milan, the big cycles. And with his return, it looks like it's the beginning of a new cycle. Ibrahimovic is red and black, guys. He is definitely a red and black all in. All right, let's see what our friends are saying. Saif says, what do you think of 4-4-2 with Goossens and Theo at the left of the field? A fantasy imagination. Goossens has definitely shown to be an excellent player. He is definitely one of the best players in that, a winger in Serie A, because his team numbers don't lie. Yeah, Goossens is one of the players that can definitely be an AC Milan player, but I don't think Atalanta is going to let him go. Youssef, keep the content coming. Appreciate it. No problem, Youssef. Forza Milan all day, all night. Pato was being spoiled by Robinho, to be honest. Even El Shaarawy. I guess they've been spending most of their nights partying. That's how they throw their career away. Yes, yes. And you know what? It is something that the Brazilian players have. It is innate. Maybe it's a cultural thing, but Brazilian players tend to be more outgoing and more, they do like to, dance, samba. They like to party. And that could have been a problem. Pato was also, maybe distracted with his girlfriend at the time, Berlusconi's daughter. There's a lot of things there that you can discuss about why Pato did not succeed at AC Milan. Pato, by the way, is in the US right now, I believe. But even El Shaarawy, now El Shaarawy had an incredible start to his AC Milan career. But his downfall started as soon as Balotelli came to Milan. As soon as Balotelli came to Milan, El Shaarawy was kind of put to the side, and then he stopped scoring. Because before Balotelli's arrival to AC Milan, El Shaarawy was scoring. He had scored maybe in more than 10 games in a row. He had accumulated a really good number of goals. Skillard says, Eastbourne, I agree with you. Late substitutions, keep choosing Mate and Krunic over Hagen Tonali, no longer inspires the team. I mean, we just have to, if you are to blame someone for the second, you're winning 1-0. The second half, it's the coach that makes the changes. So, hey, it's part of your job. You gotta get the heat, Pioli. Yes. Skiller, agree. He's too stubborn and scared to make changes, relies only with the same tactics, couldn't handle pressure, especially after being behind. Eastbourne, I noticed players after the game don't speak to him much anymore. He has lost the dressing room. Interesting. That is a very interesting observation. Well, this is the worst time to lose the dressing room. If anything, this is the most crucial moment you have in a season to have the dressing room in the palm of your fist. Saif says, Roy, give us your dream, but also realistic if it makes sense. Starting 11 for next season when we make the UCL. All right, you know what? I'm actually going to show you what. All right, are you ready? Okay. And we went through that Ibrahimovic thing there, so we can move on. I'm going to show you exactly how I think Milan should play next season. It's actually not very different from what we have right now. You have to, guys, I'm going to tell you right away, I have a lot of faith in the players, in our youngsters. I have a lot of faith in our team. So next season, Calabria, I would love to keep Donnarumma. Donnarumma needs to be on the pitch. He needs to become the captain, pay him the money once. I mean, if we can afford it. Whatever, it is what it is. A lot of there was rumors saying that Donnarumma is already a Juventus player. Today, rumors came out that he is on his way to Chelsea and that Milan already have the replacement. Okay, so let's look at the players that we have that we think are already good enough for next season. So the defense, to me, and the midfield, so let's leave these four out here. And let's assume that next season we're playing with a 4-2-3-1. So let's assume that we are playing with a 4-2-3-1. And the defense, I'll keep it the way it is, And here I would have a situation like this, Actually, no, let's keep Tomori in the starting lineup. I mean, if we do have a situation in which we are, going back and forth between Romagnoli and Kjaer, I'm happy with that because I think they're both very good players. Benacer, Kessie, I think are a tandem that is good enough to play top European football. Benacer already winning the African Cup of Nations with Algeria and winning man of the tournament, MVP of the tournament, pretty much tells me that he has everything that he needs to play international football. Kessie, we know that Kessie could be a first-team player in any big team in Europe. I don't think Kessie, there's no team in Europe that wouldn't want Kessie. Whether it's Barcelona, Real Madrid, whether it's Manchester United, Manchester City, any of these teams would love to have a Kessie on their pitch. Now, of course, if we can add more, so now it comes down to, who are you going to add to this defensive line? So let's just leave the defensive line the way it is. I'm pretty confident in this defensive line and this midfield. I think this midfield is good enough to win a Champions League because I really believe that Theo, being only 23, has the future is in front of him. He can become one of the best in Europe. I believe Calabria, being only 23, can become one of the best in Europe. I believe Donnarumma, being only 22, can become one of the best in Europe. I believe Tomori, only 23, can become one of the best in Europe. Kjaer already is experienced, one of the best in Europe. Romagnoli, if he gets his form back, he can be maybe one of the best defenders. We'll see. I know that is a controversial statement as of now. Okay, so now this is where things need to change. Now, my dream would be here. Salamaker's second choice, first choice, Berardi. Berardi would be my first choice for the right wing. That's who I would want. Striker, it would be between these two players. Ibrahimovic has signed, so he's obviously going to be leading the line. There's no point in thinking that Ibrahimovic is not going to be a starter next season. He is going to be the starting striker because you're not going to pay someone $7 million to be on the bench, and you don't want Ibrahimovic to be on the bench. So Ibra is going to be the top guy. All right, let's just make that clear. But my second guy is this dude right here, Belotti. Hold on. Bada bim, bada boom. Belotti would be Ibra Belotti would be my tandem up top. Now here, We have Rebic. If I were to dream, I would probably dream of. If I were really to dream, I would dream of Neymar. I would love to see Neymar in that position. If I really wanted to dream, but since we don't, since we have to kind of be realistic, Rebic next season in Europe can play. I think he could go on forward. Guys, why don't you give me some ideas? Who do you think would be a good right wing for AC Milan? Someone that could be a step above Rebic. Obviously, there were rumors of Insigne, but I don't think that's going to happen. Bernardeschi was one. Yeah, you guys let me know. Let me know if you have any ideas of who you would like to have there. And now here, if Chala signs, I'd be happy with that. But we do have other options. We have Pessina there. We do have other options. You guys tell me what you think. Pulisic, yeah, Pulisic could play here for Rebic, absolutely. Absolutely. Pulisic could definitely play there for Rebic. Give me some ideas, guys. Give me some ideas. Who could play in for Chala? Who do you think? I mean, Chala, if he stays, I think he would do good. Isco. Isco, yes. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. I would definitely like to have, if we could have this, wow. Wow, wow, wow. And what is going on with my... If we could have this, yes, 100%. Man, already this team here is a top team. So Kostic at Frankfurt. I'm not too familiar with that name. Hervé Blazic is the best player in Russia League. He's a playmaker that scores goals. Even if we had Neymar, Skillert, man, that is some funny stuff. Even if we had Neymar, Pioli would still play Krunic there. I would take Insigne and play him on the left wing and keep Leao as deputy. For the striking position, Ibra, Rebic, and Icone. So Icone is also a player that has been on the radar for, I think it's for this position here. He does play as a number 10, but he can also play as a number 10, and he can play in this position here. So I'm just going by with names that have been, circulating in the rumors, in the AC Milan rumors and the websites, etc. So in that case, I do not want Vlahovic. I don't know why people are so enamored with Vlahovic. I mean, I don't know what people see in this kid. I just don't see it. I just do not see Vlahovic. Now, okay, the Insigne thing here is, I don't know if that's true, but if we did have Insigne there, oh my God. Oh my God. Wow. If we had Insigne there. We have Lucas Vasquez also as an option. I believe Lucas Vasquez would be here. Lucas Vasquez. My first choice would be Berardi. Kulusevski is not going anywhere. I don't think Kulusevski is going anywhere. Juventus is going to keep him really tight. So Ziyech, Memphis Depay, yes. Okay, all right. Now let's do this. Let's get rid of this name here, and let's put Depay in there. Now that's what I'm talking about. Mamma mia, mamma, mwah, Mwah! Mamma mia, look at that. Ibra Belotti Dupai. Wow. Sign me up. I'll pay for it. So, no. Isco Chala Icone, Insigne Rebic. And here, I would love to have Berardi. And then you have these names here. Salamakers. I know that's not how you spell Salamakers. I don't care. Let's see what else we have. All right. Let's go through your comments and let's see what we have. Hold on. Let's start with this one here. Are there correlations between having goalkeeper captain and increase in cards? Now, no outfield player has the ability to speak to ref, thus more cards dished out. I don't think so. But I don't think that's a factor. At least in my experience, I haven't seen that as a factor, and there are many goalkeepers that can perform the duty of captain. How about Krunic, one of the best? Oh, man. Leo needs to be benched for the next game. Mandzukic needs to start. Let's get rid of Mandzukic, okay? Like, why did we get this player? Can someone explain to me why this player is at Milanella right now? Leo, yeah. Pulisic, very interesting, but I doubt Chelsea's going to get rid of Pulisic. Even if we had Neymar up here, we would still play Krunic. I love Isco. Isco would be perfect for AC Milan. I would like to take Insigne, play him on the left wing, keep Leo as deputy. Yep, I read that one. Kostic, I do not know Kostic. Skillard. Heard that Vlasic is the best player in Russian league. I read that. So we'll look at Vlasic. It's interesting. Right wing Berardi, left wing Hagwe is good enough. Yeah, I think Hagwe is eventually going to become a player capable of AC Milan kind of responsibilities. So, that is in his future. I don't see why not. I don't see why he wouldn't be able to become a player capable of enduring the kind of responsibilities you need to have when you play for a club like AC Milan. All right, Ziyech, another name that is he's for Chelsea. He's doing very well. Well, in my opinion, I think we need Romagnoli back in the starting lineup. Is our captain and his leader too as well? Ismaila, I've actually been thinking about that. Because, I mean, Romagnoli had, aside those 3 games where I don't know what happened, something terrible happened. But before that, Romagnoli was the captain of that team that won for 1 year straight. He was on the pitch every single game. He just needs to find that form back. Yeah, we read this. I'd rather take Cutrone back and loan Leao in return. You know what? Well, Cutrone is a center forward, and we'll get into this. This thing about Leao being a center forward is like such a waste. Like you are totally destroying the career of this player by putting him in that position. I would like to poach some of those Dortmund youngsters. Yes, Dortmund has always interesting youngsters that you can poach. Icone is left-footed and did score on us in Europa. Yes, Icone is left-footed, and I believe he starts from the right. That's why I put him on the right. And he's one of France's top prospects. He just got out of the under-21, now into the national, and I believe I read some of you guys actually told me that he scored 4 goals for France so far. And I did read a report that Icone is pretty much, if Icone were to leave, his first choice is AC Milan. Odegaard would be great. We have a great relationship with Real on loans. Odegaard, yes. Danish player, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of people were talking about how impressive he is. Yes, Vlahovic is. Let's not. This Vlahovic thing needs to stop. Like, why are we going for this player? He's a one-dimensional player. We need players that are capable of playing the ball, dribbling, crossing, through balls. We need players like Ibra, like Belotti, or Dupai. We don't need a classic number 9, unless that number 9 is Inzaghi. Insigne would be like Higuain was. Higuain can perform outside of Juve, Insigne can perform outside of Naples. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. Insigne has been on top form, especially against teams Juventus and yesterday single-handedly destroyed Lazio. I haven't seen the highlights of that game. I'm really curious to see how they did. We should have kept Bonaventura instead of getting Mate. You're not wrong, Skillard. You're not wrong. Like, why not? Cavani on a free is a good deal. Yes, he would be a good deal. I don't know if we should pursue this thing about getting these old players or these players that are towards the end of their career. It didn't work with Mandzukic, but Cavani, just his body structure, you can tell that he has a bunch of more years for sure. So it could be definitely. I prefer Belotti. The guy has pace, physical, and he knows how to score goal. If we have him besides Zlatan, it's good enough. Yes, and that's another thing that, if we get players like Belotti and Berardi, and we can change the formation. We can play different formations. We can have two strikers. We can get Tonali. So we could have a situation like this. Imagine this. Imagine this. Let's put Bennacer in the middle because we at AC Milan like beautiful football, and Bennacer would be the regista, Kessie and Tonali, the two mezzeale. And here we have either Isco, and here we have Ibra, and here we would have Belotti or Dupay. Ibra, Belotti, a nice 4-3-1-2. I would not be complaining. I would not be complaining at all. Try Hagwe number 10. Hagwe, we gotta see. We gotta see if he could play number 10. And this comes to, as far as the difference in playing in the middle of the pitch to the difference of playing on this side of the pitch. Because remember, when you're a winger, and when you receive a ball, you're not shield. Your shield is not 360. You have the line here that protects you, that gives you reference, and it's a different kind of game from when you receive a ball in this area. Because in this area now your game is 360. All right, it's not 180. It's a 360 game. It's a 360 scope. So maybe Hagwe does have the close control. He does have the through balls, but Hagwe is a very good cut-in. He has got a very good cut-in from this area. He can dribble diagonally coming in from here, and then look for that second post. He could play number 10. Who knows? We would have to see. Lucas Vasquez would be a good addition, but we need to get rid of Salamakers. Both of them can play right back, right wing, but Vasquez is an upgrade and naturally attacking. I agree that Vasquez would be a great addition, but I don't know why we would want to get rid of Salamakers because he can play both right wing and right back, and you need players that, you need someone to change in with. A youngster like Salamakers still learning is probably a good solution, and Salamakers has performed. You can't really say he hasn't performed. I have not abandoned the Salamakers just yet. Heard Hagwe is being loaned out this summer. Yeah, and it's fine. I think a good loan and get him a first team football, maybe for Genoa or for one of these mid-table teams like Sassuolo, would be perfect for him. And it would be amazing because then when he comes back, he will have that experience, and he can try, and he can do that with AC Milan. Albert Tialan, he scored 69. What? That's impossible, my man. DOA 74. Are you sure? He scored 69 goals in 48 matches. Where is he playing? How can you score 69 goals in 48 matches? Tomori has made 2 mistakes in 2 games. Slow Magnoni to start and teach him a lesson. Now it's changing now. Huh? Yes, Tomori. Look, Tomori, when it comes to the way he plays, he's still young, while Romagnoli is more experienced. Tomori, his physical aspects and his charisma on the pitch, his fighting charisma are very, very important. Seem to be very important. But he definitely needs to learn the tactical, the positioning aspects, because I mean, last goal we got, Raspadori, who by the way is an Italian under 21. I mean, he got caught pretty good. So basically, what happened, I believe Berardi was here. Berardi passed in the ball to Raspadori. Tomori, timing and position got caught off, just with a drop of the shoulder and a shimmy to one side, but instead bringing the ball to this side. Tomori created the space. Sorry, Raspadori created the space. Tomori was on this side, giving him the corner, and he shot it there. So, yeah, Tomori has a lot to learn, guys. He's still young. He has a lot to learn. Let's be realistic. Ziyech, Pulisic are too expensive. Need to win tomorrow. You think Gigio Donnarumma will stay at Milan? I think Gigio will stay at Milan. Yeah, I believe Gigio Donnarumma is going to stay at Milan 100%. I think it is in his destiny. Now, obviously, I could be wrong. And if Shevchenko left Milan, if Kaká left Milan, if Gullit left Milan, Donnarumma can leave Milan too. But I think having these players that come from the youth system, that have already the Milan mentality, they understand the club, and he should stay. He definitely should stay. Belotti would flop because he gets zero service. Richarlison of Everton. Yes, Laert usually talks about Everton. There's a lot of players from Everton that are interesting. Hoping for Torino to get relegated. Yes, me too. As bad, knock on wood that does not bring bad karma to us. But if Torino does get relegated, Belotti, if he has some sense, would leave the club. Even if Gigio doesn't renew, there's rumors Milan already preparing to replace him. Mike Magna, yes. And I should get to those reports. Let me get to those reports. Inter, instead of spending 40 million for Belotti, I'd rather we get Guardiola. Guardiola is would be an excellent coach for AC Milan. All right, let me continue with some of my reports, guys, and then we're going to keep on going with the comments. Okay. Now, actually, let me just finish these 4 comments here, and then we are going to go into, I believe, the shirts. Right? No. We're going to look at the injuries, because we got some injuries, and then I want to look at this shirt with you guys, and I want you to tell me what you think. Okay. All right. Well, guys, I know how I feel whenever Milan lost a game, especially during the race of this year's Champions League spot. I could lose my life if I ever. That's it, man. Passion, love, the faith for the colors. That's the way it is. Our heart is there open. That's what we do for this club. If Krunic and Summer remain next season, then we should boycott watching Milan next season. Yes. I can't believe we're discussing loaning out Hago and keeping Krunic. And Skillard has issues with Krunic. Thailand is Haaland's cousin. I think he's at a small club in Norway. Oh, okay. All right. Guardiola won't leave City when he has the best team in the world and an infinite transfer budget to come to Milan. That is a good point. Albert Haaland is Haaland's cousin. He plays in Norway like Hagway. He plays for Molde FK. Just Google it. Okay, cool. Wow, that's a lot of goals. That is a lot of goals for the amount of matches that he's played. All right, guys. So quick, real thing. Let's look at the possible formation for Milan Lazio and the players that are available for the team. Here we go. One second. Okay, let's start with Milan, and then we're going to go with Lazio, because Lazio is missing some players as well, which we could take advantage of. So unfortunately, guys, I say this with a heavy heart, but I read and the reports say that Ibra and Theo are still going to be out against Lazio. So Pepe Di Stefano for Sky, from Sky, is saying Milan are moving towards a team against Lazio that almost picks itself. Davide Calabria and Diogo Dalot will be the right back and left back respectively, while the return of Ismail Benacer, which is some good news, that can give us some creativity. We definitely needed creativity. That's one of the things that we missed against Sassuolo, was that those creative plays and just that organization. Milan was so unorganized in the counterattacks. One of our greatest strengths this whole season was how organized our counterattacks were, and how pristine, and how the movements were correct, the passes were correct, the through balls were correct, the 1-2s were correct, everything was correct. But against Sassuolo, it was an absolute mess. They had so many opportunities to exploit those counterattacks, and they messed up almost all of them. The same attacking quartet seen against Sassuolo could take the field with Ante Rebic, Salamakers, and Hakan Çalhanoğlu, player behind Rafael. Stop this bullshit with Leao center forward. I hope Pioli looks at the video I did, the review for the Sassuolo, and he stops with this Leao center forward. Okay? I get it. Rebic is good on the wing because he's got good connection with Theo, because he's had good performances. But Rebic can still play as a center forward. Just put Rafael Leao on the wing, and damn it, do not burn this player. Do not waste him, because we're wasting him this way. The fans are turning against him. His value is going down. I'm so angry with how Pioli is managing Rafael Leao in this current moment. However, it seems that the presence of the Portuguese forward is far from guaranteed after another goalless outing in midweek. This is because there are two hypotheses under consideration. The first is that Romagnoli could start in defense, and the second is that Ibrahim Diaz could take the place of Leao, with Rebic then the striker. Okay, now that's an interesting formation. That is a very interesting formation. That is definitely a very interesting formation. Let's look at that formation. Let's see how this formation would look like. I definitely don't mind that formation at all. I do not mind that formation at all. So this is what it might look like. This is what the team might look like during okay. Let's see. And then I want to show you also what the changes that. Okay, Leao would be here, which again is an absolute disaster to put him in this position. My E is not working. What is going on? Okay. Whatever. Call him Lao. Here we would have. Let's see. All right. It doesn't matter. So what it looks like. Salamakers is going to be here. Obviously, that's the only choice we have in that position. So Salamakers is going to be there. Rebic here. And Brahim Diaz over here. Now, this I do not mind. I do not mind this at all. I can live with this. I can live with this. I can definitely live with this formation. I think this formation could work. As long anything can work, just don't put Leao in that position right there. Just don't put him there because he can't play there. Diaz over Hagwe. Yeah, or just put Hagwe there. Put Hagwe, put a natural position. Now, the thing is that the way Milan seems to be playing right now, as far as this last game, is that the midfield, the Chala tends to come and cover this area. the left winger comes and plays almost as a seconda punta, and then you would have Rebic prima punta, Diaz. So Rebic first striker, Diaz second striker. This is what the team played like this last game. They kind of morphed into this. Well, Meite was a little bit more defensive, while Kessie was here, and Chala was playing like a mezzala. And then offensively, Chala would move to the center, and Kessie would cover this area. Meite would still stay here. Salamakers would be of this area. And then you had Leal, which was on this side. Another mistake. Rebic, which was on this side. So maybe a formation like that could work. Could work. I don't mind a formation like that. Leal instead of Diaz, yeah. As long as Leal, look, just ask. All you got to do, Leal, start from here. That's it. If you tell Leal start from that position, he will be one of our favorite players for AC Milan. Just start him from there. This is where he needs to get the ball, here. If he gets the ball from here, he'll do well. All right, let's move on, because Lazio has some players that are out as well. And I want to show you guys, which could be very good for us, because they're quite important players. And this could definitely be something in our advantage. All right, here we go. Where is it? Let's see. Leao instead of Diaz. Milan should change the Primavera coaching team. They're terrible. Roba, Camilo Scherves, Albertine, Mionic, Colin Sacco are capable of being the future players for a. Yeah, the Primavera is what, mid-table? I believe they're like in 10th position or something. Not good at all. Skilla, Brahim, Milan is a great club, and it's a great pleasure to play here. We must aspire also to the Scudetto. I prefer to play in the role behind the strikers. Why the fuck are we putting him on left wing? Yes, no, I think Skillard, Brahim Diaz would probably just start on the left, but he would become like a seconda punta attacking midfielder for sure. Isn't Theo out for this game? Yes, Theo is out for this game. As a matter of fact, it's going to be Dalot again, who you can say did not have the best of games, because both the goals that we conceded came from that side of the field. But also, both of them. But you can also blame Pioli, because after Rebic, you see Rebic. Another thing that we have to consider about Leao, and that's in front of it. Carlo Moretti says Leao has enough chances. Basta. Another thing that we have to consider about Leao is that Leao's, off the ball, he's not maybe as reliable as Rebic is. Rebic is very good in what we call copertura, in covering when we don't have the ball on the left. But, Leao played on the left for that whole period in which we were winning all those games. If we did it then, why can't he do it now? Like, does that mean he's worse? That makes absolutely no sense. Cherefin out, Pioli out. Cherefin, we are going to actually look at something with Cherefin. With our defensive record, we need 5 at the back for the whole 90. It's something to think about, Skillard. It is definitely something to think about. We do have Romagnoli is back. Maybe we can start to think about, protecting the 4th place rather than attacking the 4th place. It is definitely a thing. But okay, let's look at this report about Lazio, which could definitely go to our favor. Okay, Milan are currently gearing up to take on Lazio away from home following what was a disappointing 1-2 loss at Sassuolo, squandering a 1-0 lead. The Rossoneri certainly need to up their game in the next few games. Yes, we all agree. Stefano Pioli have several teams behind them ready to take advantage of a recent slump, although they got lucky midweek round. Okay. Yes, and guys, thank God Atalanta tied, because Atalanta timed the game, actually put them on in the third spot, not fourth. Again, we are lucky right now. The win against Genoa was lucky, and Atalanta not winning against Roma is us being lucky. I do not like to be dependent on luck. All right, let's finish this. So basically, the two players that might not play in Lazio's starting lineup are Luis Alberto and Lucas Leiva, which is great, especially Luis Alberto. If you take Luis Alberto out of Lazio, they lose a lot of creativity, they lose the assists, and they lose even goals, because that's what Luis Alberto does. He produces assists and goals. Lucas Leiva is also a very interesting and potentially dangerous player. So hopefully these two players are out and we don't have to deal with them. So this is what we have to be looking forward to as far as Milan-Lazio. But guys, we are about to come to the moment of revelation. And this is where we all have our say, and we all get to judge what AC Milan's shirt is going to look like next year. Are we ready? Are we ready, ladies and gentlemen? All right, let's read some of your comments. Pioli is taking Hagway like when you go for looking a job and the employee tell you that you don't have an experience. How can Hagway have an experience without giving him a chance to prove himself? Well, the problem is, Ismail, is that, you know, in at this level of football, coaches can't take risks. And like I said earlier, like Suso, when Suso came, you know, he wasn't great, but then we put him out to Genoa, then he came back and he became a top player. So I think that's the way they're looking at it, you know? That's the way they're looking at it. Leao is not that great even when we were winning. His attitude sucks, always be like that. He does have a problem with his attitude, and he needs to focus more on football. He needs to cut out, okay, like your rap career, just don't, right now, you're a football player, my man. You're a soccer player. You're a professional athlete. You have millions of dollars invested on you. You have a career to look forward. Don't waste it on distractions. That's what I would tell Leao. If Leao was my player, I'd be really in his head. If I was his parents, actually, if I was his agent, I'd really be, you know, like this whole, you know, music rap thing, keep it on the down low. Don't let that distract you from what your job is, which is being a professional soccer player. For those who believe in Hagway and Tonali, then Pioli needs to go. Milan are still not yet out of the Super League officially, alongside Juventus, Barcelona, Real Madrid. Now Seferin is threatening to ban them out of the Champions League next season. Yes, and we are going to finish today's segment on that subject. Ranieri, no way. I will never want. You want Ranieri? Skiller, why? Please tell me why you want Ranieri. Free Hagway, Carlo Moretti says. We need ESL because we look like we're going to fuck up top 4. Yes. It is true. We definitely need well, you guys know how I feel it. I know it's a little bit controversial. It's a very controversial topic right now because let's leave that for last. We're going to go into that last. How can you justify Leao over Hagway? I just don't understand. I mean, Hagway seems to be tactically more prepared than Leao. I think it's just because Leao has had this extra year of experience, and that's why they're putting him forward. I don't know. I would really love to see what they see, what the coaches think. I would really love to be at Milanello and understand what's going on. Coach can't take risks by keeping playing Samuel and Krunic. I'm confused. Well, I mean, these are the players they have, you know. When you are a coach, you have to get the best out of the players that you have, and that's just the way it is. You know, The transfer market, we can't. No point in talking about the transfer market during the season. You have to get the best out of these players. I mean, Krunic, for heaven's sake, is a starter in his national team. He plays as a segunda punta, as a second striker in his national team. Sometimes he plays on the left. Krunic is a wild card, but you got to know how to play him. You got to know how to play him, when to use him, and how to use him. Sorry, I missed that. Pioli always has his shitty favorite players and keep playing the like Bernardeschi, Fiorentina, Krunic, and someone Milan. Jen scored versus Sampdoria. Since then, 0 chances off the bench. Free hardware. I think UEFA will ban us, no question. And we're going to get to that. Yeah, going back to the Hagway thing, I think Hagway deserves. He should have played, actually, on against Sassuolo. Ibrahim Diaz should have played against Sassuolo because it was pretty pathetic. The way those players interacted with each other was pretty pathetic. Well, Ranieri did win that super trophy with Leicester, which was incredibly impressive. All right, guys. Are you guys ready? Is everybody ready? This is the moment we've all been waiting for. I want you guys to give me a rating, 1 out of 10. All right, here we go. Here we go, guys. Bada beam, bada boom. Would you spend 100 euros or even more for this shirt? Let's see, where is it? Now, obviously, this is a mock-up, but it seems like this is what it's going to be. It seems like this is what we are looking at. Bada beam, bada boom. What do you guys think? Is this the shirt that is going to make AC Milan win a Champions League? Do you see Milan winning a Champions League with this shirt? It is interesting because when in 2003 Milan had a very peculiar shirt. It was it had like a double layer, a netted double. The barcode is back. I love that. All right, guys, give me some votes. Give me some votes. 1 out of 10. What do you guys say? But Pioli isn't getting enough out of Samu right now. Yes, Samu. It's also the players. It's not just the coach. It's also the players that need to bring out, their contributions for sure. Bosnian doesn't have a decent player in that position, so no wonder they're playing Krunic over there. All right, let's see. Let's see what we say. Pete Shoop says 6, so just barely sufficient. The barcode is back. Carlo Moretti says, yikes. DOA74 also gives the shirt a 6. Carlo Moretti says, mamma mia, ragazzi. Eastbourne says, look like Milan are getting ready for the Super. Yes. Clever. They build the press tag onto the team. Joseph Piabate says 5. I like the thicker stripes. 5. So insufficienza. Joga Benito gives it a 7. Carlo Moretti gives it a 6. So barely just passes. Tez Falim says, love the parkour, 9 out of 10. So we do have some fans that really like this shirt. Very cool. Carlo Moretti says, I don't hate it. Youssef says 7. Okay, very good. They said the Puma logo will be in the center with the Milan logo. Yes, this is a mock-up. So it's going to be something like this. It's going to be something like this. All right, guys, let's move on. This is they gave it to Krunic. They asked Krunic to design the shirt. All right, let me look here. Do you think do you guys have maybe any? What is your favorite AC Milan shirt? Like, which one is it? Which is your favorite AC Milan shirt? Up second shirt, because the second shirt, just give me 1 second here. But so far it seems like so far it seems like this maybe Jean-Pierre should have been more better. Change the home kit tradition to much the red and black stripes. Should always be a symbol, so only 5 for me. Eastbourne gives it a 5. Eastbourne likes the traditional stripes like this. This is it's not a sponsored shirt, but it does have a great behind the shirt. Rino Gattuso. Yes, that was a beautiful shirt. That was when with shirt with the thin stripes and the cross. Yeah. How can I get a Milan 2021 home kit? I'm pretty sure it's going to be available. I think they're going to start playing with the new home kit in the following games. All right, guys. Now let's take a look at the second shirt. The second shirt I think is actually pretty decent from what I'm seeing. I personally give it a high. Vote, but I wonder what you guys think. It is a little bit different from what we're used to seeing, but it is a very interesting shirt. All right, here we go. There you go. So cream color is more cream, and it has the design of the city of Milano embedded in the shirt with the gray. Now, the question is, Milan always plays their Champions League finals with the white shirt. This one here is more of a cream color. I don't mind it. I actually like that. I will give this shirt. Okay, my vote for the shirt, for the previous shirt, maybe a 6.5. I'm not a big fan of those weird looking stripes, but this one I'll give it a 7.5, 7.5/8. What about you guys? What do you think? Favorite shirt is any that doesn't 2011, 2012 home. That was the I can't we saw it earlier. I don't know the Lotto ones from the 90s. Ooh, those ones were nice. The yellow Super Coppa strip. I like the gold one we had with Balotelli. That was a nice one too. Oh yes, the 1994 finale. That was just a legendary one. Away shirt, good. Milan City identity. 10 out of 10 best away kit in years. Yes, this away kit is actually an away kit that I would spend the money. What is it, 120 euros? I would definitely spend the money for this kit. The design in the back with the blueprint of the city is just So cool. This one is fire, says Pete. DOA gives it an 8. Always love the away kits, Carlo Moretti. The city map is such a nice cultural touch. Yes, it's very cool. Waiting for the Louis Vuitton edition along with the Louis Vuitton money. Take the gray away, add red. Yes, 7.5. I agree. This shirt here merits a pretty decent. Let's see if I can make it a little bit bigger here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, guys. A winner in my book. Now, the question is, do we see AC Milan winning a Champions League with this shirt? I say yes. Because remember, it is AC Milan tradition to always play the finals of the Champions League with the away kit. All right. And then now this one I think is one of the worst shirts that I've ever seen AC Milan with an AC Milan logo on. Like this shirt here looks like they just didn't give a fuck. I don't like it at all. I give this one a 4. Looks more like a third kit. It kind of does look like a third kit. It is very different. The away shirt reminds me of Bertolacci and Montelivo with a green one, but this one I'll give it an 8. It's unique and different from previous seasons. DOA74 gives this shirt a 0. Yes, this one here just looks like there's nothing interesting about it. It's an absolute, it's like an Arsenal shirt. It looks like a Man U shirt. Like if this one had the blueprint, with like the second shirt, it would be cool. But just plain red and the white stripe there, it just does not look cool at all. I'm not liking it at all. Pete Schuppe, bad practice shirt. Yeah, no bueno. But we do have people that like it. Youssef Shinkar says, I like it in my opinion. Milan has always had third kits that are very interesting. That third kit reminds me of Pepe Reina and Antonio Giannone. It's basically like it kind of does look like a keeper kit. Carlo Moretti loves the shirt. So, people have different opinions. Art is subjective. To me, it's maybe the worst AC Milan shirt I've seen in years. But to another AC Milan fanatic like myself, like Carlo Moretti, he gives this shirt a 10. So, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Carlo Moretti, why do you like that shirt? What is about it that you think is really nice? All you need is one solid black stripe down the middle. That would be cool. That would be interesting. A nice solid, solid black stripe right in the middle. So these are the 3 shirts. It looks pretty positive. This one here is absolutely brilliant. So Carlo Moretti thinks that the third kit is better than the second kit. And this one here is decent. I mean, it's cool. It's cool. The barcode thing is pretty cool. We'll give it that. It is as decisive as Marco Giampaolo when we first saw him. Pete, who here actually believed that Marco Giampaolo would have been the right coach for AC Milan? I didn't. I was sure he was the wrong coach. I was so sure about it. I will buy it. Reminds me of the third kit from the 95. 95, man. That year was a difficult year. I think Milan won the Scudetto. No. They won the Scudetto in 96 with Wea. 95, we lost to Ajax in the Champions League, 1-0. Clarence Seedorf was actually in that game for Ajax. Fun fact. Ismail Yabaja says, please can you help me here? Why all the last 3 games of Milan played as first kickoff besides Inter, Juve, Napoli, Atalanta, Roma, Lazio? Please guide me here. The last 3 games. Okay, that's an interesting thing. We might look at that. Let's look at that. Puma Designs almost looks like similar with other clubs. That's the only reason why I hate Puma. They keep producing the same design. The IFT guys were 100% all behind him. And Maldini. Sorry, we're all behind you. Oh, Giampaolo. Got you. No. I knew Giampaolo was the wrong coach. Giampaolo just doesn't have the personality. He is not fit to be the coach of a team that needs to fight for that, because that top 4 spot, those are the trenches. Those are the trenches, guys. You need a warrior to lead you. Even you need someone that is either super incredibly astute, or you need someone with great personality, super character. Again, if we look at the coaches that won in the last 30 years, well, let's look at all the coaches that won the Champions League with AC Milan. Nereo Rocco, right? That guy was a soldier. That man was a war. He was a sergeant. Nobody fucked with Nereo Rocco. Arrigo Sacchi didn't take shit from anyone. He told his players what to do. He amazing, genius personality. Capello, absolutely another disciplinarian, as Rooney called him, a disciplinarian. You can't fuck around with Capello. If Capello says, hey, no cell phones, no this, no that, you don't do it. People are scared of Capello. Ancelotti, actually very docile and gentle in his approach, but incredibly inspirational, astute, and very knowledgeable about the game. But Giampaolo, nah. No, thank you. Yeah, Maldini and Boba need to take the blame for Giampaolo. Yes, yeah. I don't know what that was. And imagine getting rid of Gattuso for Giampaolo. Like, what? Giampaolo coaching Milan is like Arsenal or Tottenham getting into the Super League. Exactly. That's a good analogy. Didn't Giampaolo buy courage? I don't. Maybe. It is very possible. He looked like a 50-year-old wearing his first tailored suit. So uncomfortable as our coach. Yeah, he just did not fit. Did not fit at all. Giampaolo is the George Costanza of coaches. Yes. I do not understand why they even thought that Giampaolo would have been a good no legends coming back to Milan as coach. Look at what we did to Giampaolo. It's absolutely astonishing to me. It absolutely made no sense. All right, guys. Final topic of the day. Let's go to the final topic of the day, and let's discuss the Super League a little bit more now that the waters have calmed. Let's see. Where is this report? Serafin. Fuck Serafin, okay? I fucking hate this guy. Seferin. Look at his name. Seferin. It's like a name of a villain. Like if I were to create a comic book, my villain would be named Seferin because it's just perfect. All right. Here we go. Let's see what this person says. Seferin says Super League holdouts could face Champions League ban. Bullshit. The teams that you want to ban are the teams that are carrying your competition, you asshole. It's because of these teams that you can afford a multi-million-dollar yacht. So Alexander Seferin has warned clubs clinging onto the Super League dream that they could face bans from the Champions League. The UEFA president has been speaking with AP, Associated Press, with the Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, and AC Milan yet to formally disavow themselves from the Super League. So this man, the head of UEFA, wants us and these other teams to disavow from the Super League. All 6 Premier League clubs named as founders on Sunday night had dropped out within 48 hours. Fan pressure, and that's a very important thing there to look at. Fan pressure. And that's something I really want to talk about in a moment. Had been brought to bear, but it seems influences from the Kremlin and Abu Dhabi were more influential. From the Kremlin? What? Russia? Okay. That's interesting. Does anybody know about this? Are you telling me Putin is involved in this? What in the name of heaven? All right. Real Madrid president Florentino Perez remains a vocal Super League proponent, while his Barcelona counterpart Joan Laporta still insists a Super League in some form is absolutely necessary. So both Barcelona and Real Madrid believe that this format is super necessary, and we'll get into it, guys. AC Milan released a statement regarding the now toxic nature of the proposal, but didn't formally back out. While Juventus president Andrea Agnelli claims the current proposal is not workable, but remains married to the idea. So let's repeat that one more time. The Juventus president Andrea Agnelli claims the current proposal is not workable, but remains married to the idea. It's crystal clear that the clubs will have to decide if they're Super League or they are a European club, Serafin told AP. If they say we are a Super League, then they don't play Champions League, of course. And if they're ready to do that, they can play in their own competition. So this is very interesting what Serafin says here. Seferin says here. His name reminds me of Sulfur. Mr. Sulfur, what Mr. Sulfur says here. If they say we are a Super League, then they don't play Champions League, of course. And if they're ready to do that, they can play in their own competition. That's almost him being submissive to the idea. Now, JP Morgan, which I read, backed out. Financiers such as JP Morgan distanced themselves from the Super League on Friday, having originally agreed to fund the project to the tune of 3.5 billion euros. Clubs are still set to owe the company millions in break fees. We still are waiting for legal expertise, and then we will see. Seferin said regarding UEFA's next steps, but everybody faces consequences. Fuck you. I can't stand this guy. What consequences? Bro, UEFA, the reason why you guys exist is because of these teams. Okay? It's because of these teams, UEFA. You are not God. UEFA thinks that they're like post-Roman Empire Catholic Church, where they own the institutions and they decide who gets to go to heaven and who does not. What? Go screw yourself. For me, it's a very different situation between the clubs that admitted their mistake and said he will leave the project. We will leave the project. Like he wants these teams to go and bow down at him and kiss their feet. Say, I'm sorry we did that. Can we come back to the Champions League? Screw you. For me, it's a very different situation between the clubs that admitted their mistake and said we will leave a project. The others mainly know, I would say, that this project is dead, but they don't want to believe it, probably. Okay. All right. Okay. Now, let me be clear on how I feel about this. Some of you already know because you've heard me say it. Maybe there are other people here that haven't heard me say it. I agree that these teams need to be let free. They do not have access to their assets because of the current regulations, the current formats. And if this is a way for them to twist UEFA's arm, good. Go for it. Fight for your right to exploit your assets. I think every human being should have that right, including companies, including businesses, etc. Now, do I think that the ECL would be run by, moral people, uncorruptible people? Absolutely not. That's just the nature of business, especially when it comes to billions and billions of dollars. You have people influencing decisions. Money talks. So there's no difference between the management of UEFA and a supposed management of a Super League. It's the same thing. Florentino Perez is not a saint, and neither is Seferin, Mr. Sulfur. They're not saints either. But this is something that we had spoken about. It's because of these current rules that a team like Milan right now has to buy Mate. Okay? It's because of these current rules that a team like that AC Milan right now. Okay, for example, let's look at this. A few years ago, when Belotti's clause was 100 million, Milan, this was under Mirabelli, Milan, was interested in buying Belotti, but Milan offered Torino 60 million, and they couldn't go ahead. But if Milan was able to exploit their assets without these stupid financial fair play rules, they could have bought Belotti 100 million, and Torino would have been 100 million euros richer, and Torino now would be exploiting that money. So these financial rule plays, they're not just affecting the teams that have the ability to exploit their assets, but they're also affecting the teams that could exploit the assets of other teams by selling their players to those teams and then rebuilding their teams. So it's all around. UEFA, to me, is not the good guy. And one thing that I have to say is that the Super League, I know it brings a lot of feelings, a lot of negative feelings. People feel very negative about this UEFA Super League. The Super League, because they look at it as this capitalist. It's a movement of capitalism, of greediness, and meritocracy is thrown out the window. Football belongs to the people, But we have to be careful not to fall for propaganda, because we know that, the people, who are the people fighting for? Are you fighting for football, or are you fighting for UEFA? That's where the line needs to be drawn. Are the people, because right now, one of the main reasons why the Super League is not going to happen is because of the pushback of the fans, of the people. Of course, Roma fans don't want us to be in the Super League. Roma fans don't want us to exploit our assets. Roma fans just want to think about winning the derby for the next 100 years. That's all they give a shit about. Who cares? They don't need the Super League. We like to win the Champions League. We like to be the best in Europe. We like to be the best in the world. And we have won. We have accumulated enough assets in order for us to fund a project that can do that. Teams like Roma, 100 years. Oh, we got to win the derby. We got to win the derby. Well, fuck you. Go win your derby and let us be who we are. I don't care if you don't have bigger ambitions. Same thing with Lazio. Same thing with all these mid-table teams. The more money we have, the better it is for you, mid-table teams, because now we can pay more money for your players, and you can use that money to build better teams. In a way, when it comes to sports, I know the idea of trickle-down economics, makes sense. Because in sports, if I am Torino and I sell a player for 100 million to the team that has 100 million to spend, now I have 100 million more, and I can buy 3 or 4 more players, and I can build the team that is going to keep me in the Serie A into maybe fight for the UEFA League for the next 3 or 4 years. So this is the problem. And it comes down to whether or not ethically it's correct to do such a thing, whether it's what it means for football in general. So we have to really understand whether or not, without getting too emotional about it, whether or not this is a good idea. Should we, cut the umbilical cord, the UEFA umbilical cord, and go and become independent? Now, my criticism to this Super League is that the way they did it made absolutely no sense. Like this also tells me how detached these multi-billionaires are from just the people. You know, you cannot just from one night to the other, like a thief in the night. You cannot just say, okay, hey guys, we're doing this. No explanation, just out of the blue. You know, something that millions, billions of people follow around the world. And you're just going to present it like that from one day to the other without saying anything. Like, this just tells me how detached these people are from reality. They don't understand. And this is why the other side wins, because the other side has better media hold, and you can even say propaganda in order to fight their cause for them. But if you want to present a tournament of a sort, it has to be gradual. Just start. Put out the seeds. Tell the people why you want to do it. Make it look as if you are the good guy. Make it look, convince the people. You got to ease them in. Human beings are not built to just, change your mind from one instant to the other. You have to talk to a human. You have to talk to them. You have to tell them. You have to show them. You have to present a case. And then your case has to be strong enough for that human being to agree with it or not. So the way they presented it was an absolute disaster, fiasco. But I think some positive things can come out of it. I believe that some positive things can come out of it. That maybe UEFA is trying to play as if UEFA wants to play the boss. They want to be they're pretending they're the Pope, they're the Vatican, and they get to choose who goes into heaven and who doesn't. And I'm not saying that that's what the Vatican does now. I'm saying this is what the Vatican used to do back in the day, post Roman Empire, etc. But so yeah, if they want to do this Super League, you got to be tactful about it. You got to use the media to your advantage rather than create this you basically what they did, they created a populist movement against them. All the people came together and said, fuck you, screw you, capitalist pigs. We believe in meritocracy. This is capitalism. So it's easy for UEFA to not even go to court. UEFA didn't even have to go to court. The people fought for UEFA. So now, it comes down to what is going to happen. If UEFA bans AC Milan and Juve and Real Madrid, I think they're going to go ahead and do this competition. But I don't think UEFA is going to do that because UEFA needs these teams. They need the revenue that these teams bring, because UEFA cannot survive without those teams. All right, so let's see. Thoughts, ideas. What do you guys think? Let me know who is pro and who is against. Okay, so we're still going into the Giampaolo here. Giampaolo. Sarri. All right. Rules like FFP keep historic teams like Fiorentina from growing. That, coupled with Italian government corruption, they don't understand the lessening the rules lets everyone. But yeah, okay, Pete. Now I remember when the Italian government changed the tax laws, which made it so that the wages that you paid for a player were pretty much, you had to pay 50%. Okay, so if you're paying a player, let's say $6 million a year, you were actually paying $12 million a year because the other $6 million was going to the government. And that was the beginning of the 2000s, and that's when English football took over, and Spanish football took over, and Italian football died because these tax laws that the government imposed on the Serie A, just the laws in general, crippled Italian teams. And it was a miracle that Milan was still, at that point, Milan was still kind of, exploiting the remains of the late 90s, and with the players that they bought. I mean, most of the players that won in 2003 and 2007 were players that Milan bought, aside from Kaká, but were players that Milan bought in 2000 and 2001. Okay, so Gattuso, Pirlo, Seedorf, Inzaghi, Nesta, all these players came to AC Milan around 2000, 2001, maybe 2002. And then we used these players to win 2003 and 2007 and got into the final of 2005. But Milan, because of these tax laws, it was much easier for players to go into Spain and get higher wages, and for teams to pay their players in Spain or in England rather than in Italy. So tax laws and UEFA fair, and then when the fair play kicked in, it was done. It was done. It was over. It was over. Plus, Berlusconi had a $500 million lawsuit. That was the end of Italian football as we know it. Joseph Piabata says, Ceferin is a snake. Picking who to enforce fair play on is corrupt. But I still believe the plan would be detrimental. Two major points I've heard anyone talk about are it will lead to hyperinflation or transfer prices and wages. Guys, let's make the Ceferin out-tweet trending more and powerful. It's all over Twitter and mostly from Milan and Juventus fans. Joseph, totally agree. Hopefully this whole mess will wake more of us up to UEFA's bullshit. Super League is done, but UEFA may well be worse. Yes. I have very mixed feelings about the Europa Super League. I understand. Also, for someone like me who would like to go into data analytics, this will lead to a reduction of economically viable job positions around Europe for staff members at the club. Now, I don't agree with that, and I'll tell you in a second why. Ismail Badja says, Eastbourne, I get your point, but it's not necessary at the moment because football lovers are not happy with it, and all the 6 English clubs have withdrawn. And I myself am not in support of it. All right. So the reason why I do not agree with this statement is because another league would just create other jobs for other people. So rather, another league means more jobs for other people. I don't see why. Now, remember that the idea of the Super League was to keep on playing in the domestic leagues, but just not play in the Champions League. Instead of playing in the Champions League, you play in the domestic league. Now, the inflation, yes, that can definitely happen in a league that has all that money, because the amount of money that they're talking about is incredible. I don't think this would take away jobs. I don't see why. I don't see how. I see it more so a new organization, so new referees, new people that work in VAR, promotion, marketing. I see more jobs created rather than less jobs created. Eastbourne, I get your point, but it's not necessarily okay. Read that. If 12 teams get 300 million each, how much will Haaland go for? Yes. Now, this is where you talk about hyperinflation, and that is definitely something that can happen. But one of the things that, I even spoke about earlier about how, having more money creates in soccer, specifically. So we're not talking about anything else but football right now. A form of trickle-down economics, right? So if I have 300 million, and let's say, who's a player that is interesting from a team? Okay, let's say, well, I'll just go back to the same example. If I have 300 million, that means now, if I need to buy a player from Sassuolo that costs 50 million, I don't have a problem. I'll just pay it. And Sassuolo is 50 million richer. So it might, I see, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it would cause a trickle-down economic kind of thing where the teams underneath would exploit the fact that these teams have more money. I don't agree with the ECL format, but a better format and without killing football in other clubs would be welcome rather than the corrupt UEFA. Now, okay, now this I can see. I can see this. Like, we don't really need a European Super League. We don't really need it. And I honestly don't even think that they need to change the format. I think that the way they want to change the format is kind of like, in a way, pandering to Milan and Real Madrid. It's like, okay, we're going to make it easier for you to compete. I don't want charity. I don't want charity. I just want the teams to be able to exploit their assets. That's it. All right, so this is what's going on with the European Super League. And yeah. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to come live and give me a pro and against. 5 minutes each, guys. Maybe you can go against each other. Anyone wants to go, just let me know. I think it's the major sponsors move away from UCL to ECL, then the teams excluded from ECL each year will lose revenue, and that might mean a reduction in hiring. I think if the major sponsors move away from UCL to ECL, then the teams excluded from the ECL. Yes, there would obviously be a disparity because UCL would still maintain their draconian laws, which would affect those teams that are in the UCL, and those teams in the UCL would not make any money or as much money as the ECL, and those teams in the ECL would just skyrocket. Their funds would skyrocket. This is definitely a possibility of something like that happening for sure. It works in reverse as well. Any team outside of ECL won't be able to afford ECL players, similar to the Premier League transfer market these days. Yeah, the reverse is true, and which would probably cause a chain reaction in which these teams would, because the other teams can't exploit their assets as well. Okay. That's the thing. The other teams don't exploit their assets as well, but their ambitions are not the same as the ambitions as AC Milan, Barcelona, Madrid, these big teams. It is a very interesting topic when it comes down to that, the inverse. What is the inverse? That is actually a quite interesting topic. What would happen there? I do think that these teams would benefit from the money of the ECL because most of the players, a lot of the players you're going to buy are probably players that play in teams that are not in the ECL. I don't see, unless there's going to be trades like they do it in the US. But if you're in the ECL, you're probably not buying from Milan or from Madrid. You're probably buying from these other teams that have superstars in them. Obviously, the format, there's a lot of questions about the format. But at the end of the day, Milan needs to be free of these shackles. They need to be free of these regulations. And the only people that are making money today, the only people that have a smile from year to year are the people in the offices of UEFA. They're the ones that are making all the money. Okay? Because because UEFA, all UEFA does is organize a match. All UEFA does is says, hey, the match is played here, there. We put our name. This is our competition. You're winning. The trophy has our name on it. And the TV rights, we get to decide. We get to determine how the TV rights work. But people are not watching the games because of UEFA. People are watching the games because of the teams that are playing. So the middleman is making a killing and has way too much power. And this is what happened. This is what we knew. This is what they spoke about. This is what Galliani was speaking about this. We saw this happen when the financial fair play kicked in. Platini, I remember Platini was involved in UEFA, and they were talking about, we got to think about these other teams. But again, I repeat, if Roma decides to fucking for 100 years just think about winning the derby, it's not my problem. It's not my fault. It's not my problem. All right. Anybody wants to discuss? Wants to come live and talk 5 minutes? In order for small teams like Atalanta to grow in the current system, they have to do far more work than should be necessary. Yeah, of course. Everyone has to do far more work than necessary. All right, guys, let me know who's pro and who's for. Otherwise, I'm going to close. Joseph, I know you want to have a discussion with me, so we can get that going. If Comisa wants to buy Haaland, why should he be stopped? Right. He shouldn't. If Comisa can buy Haaland, why shouldn't he? I'm thinking that maybe we can do this. We can get a segment maybe on Tuesdays or Fridays where we get you guys. You can battle it out against each other on topics for who's pro and who's against. Maybe we can do that. All right. Okay, so we have a challenger. Joseph is going to get 10 minutes, and he is going to try and convince me why the Super League is a bad idea. Pete Shoop, are you for or against? Let me know if you're for and against first, so I can organize the challenges. So basically, I'm gonna put the link to the stream. You come in. If you don't have a camera, don't worry. Just talk on your phone. I should be able to hear you. Pete, you got to decide yes or no. I mean, are you for or against? Joseph is for, so he's going to. Sorry, Joseph is against it, so he's going to argue against the Super League. And Pete, are you going to argue for the Super League? Anyway, so what you want to do is just click on that link, and we'll get you all set up. Pioli in, Pioli out for the next podcast. That is a good idea. So next week on Tuesday, we're going to do Pioli in, Pioli out. We're going to have you guys. Okay, Peter's for. All right, guys. So come on, jump on the stream and battle it out. Let me see a 1v1 battle, and I'll moderate. And then I do owe Joseph also a little bit of so just click on the link, guys, and or just copy and paste it on your whatever, on your internet thing, and you should be able to come on live. All right, so we have Pete in the house. Pete, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Pete Schupe. Are you subscribed to Rossoneri TV, Pete?
Yeah, I have been for a few months, ever since you started doing the watch-alongs. I've really enjoyed those.
Awesome. Cool. Very good. I see a lot of people commenting on our channel, and we can see from that who's subscribed and who's not subscribed. So guys, please, everybody subscribe. All right, Pete, Joseph is coming, and you said you're going to. So you're for it, huh?
Yeah, I'm mostly torn. The just the fact that only certain teams can be in it bothers me a lot. But the idea that big clubs around the world shouldn't be allowed to form their own league if they want to is ridiculous to me.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I definitely totally agree with that. Where are you from?
I'm from Utah in the United States.
Ah, nice, cool. And you're an AC Milan fan?
Yeah, since 2007.
Yeah. Wow. So since AC Milan won that Champions League against Liverpool, was that it?
Yeah. I wasn't a soccer fan, football fan back then. I had a buddy from Bosnia, and they were all Inter fans. And I was at their house, and they were playing the game, the Champions League, and they were rooting against AC Milan, and just to piss them off, I rooted for them, and Pipo Inzaghi won me over.
Nice. Cool. All right, guys, we have Joseph in the house. Here is Joseph.
What's up, man?
What's up, Joseph? How you doing?
Yeah, sorry about the other day. I was a little harsh on you, man. I'd never hopped in the stream before, and I didn't know your full opinion on it. So that's my bad.
Okay, so in case anybody knows, Joseph was very angry at me when we did that. When we did that live, you said you wanted to punch me in the face, Joseph.
I was very, very angry that day. I was very emotional. Had to gather my thoughts.
Nice, awesome. All right, Joseph and Pete and Joe. Do you want me to call you Joey?
Yeah, that works.
All right, guys. So let's start. You guys back and forth. I'll come in with my ideas whenever. We're gonna go about 10 to 15 minutes. Joe, you start. You tell me. Okay. You said you're against it. So tell us why you're against the Super League, and then Pete, rebut.
Okay. Mostly, I think it comes down to meritocracy. That's the first point. If it stays as proposed, where it's kind of only one league and 5 teams come up and go down each year, I don't even think they talk like did the 5 teams that come up they automatically go down and they bring in 5 new teams. I'm not really sure how that works. It just seems really difficult. And like I said in some of the comments, I just worry that like the revenue for these clubs is going to disappear if like all the sponsors move to the ESL.
Okay. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Pete. Take it.
I don't even disagree with any of your points. I think mostly, for years I've been wanting some of these bigger teams that have a lot of clout, like the 12, even financial clout, not just historical clout. They've been needing to stand up to UEFA, and I just don't think they did it the right way. However, the principle of it, I'm totally for. I don't see why any group of teams shouldn't be able to form their own league if they want to. I mean, that's how leagues originally, come to be, But yeah, the meritocracy part of it does bother me. I mean, I heard some proposals from people like Perez about potentially doing a second tier. And if that means even these 12 founding teams can drop down and get relegated into that second tier, I like that idea a lot better.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better. Another thing is like when they come out and they say that they're saving football, I looked it up. Like all 12 members are on the most valuable list of clubs according to Forbes for the year 2019 to 20. And they all have they're all heavily in debt. It's like you're not saving football for the sake of football. You're trying to save your brand and your club from a bad year, and even before that, because they've been playing this for 3 years, right? They say. So they knew that they've been trying to do something like this, and I'm sure if this doesn't go through, there'll be other iterations down the line of this sort of happening. And like another thing that really bothers me is what makes these teams right now the best and the best, and what is it like 10 years ago? If some of these teams didn't have these wealthy owners, they wouldn't be in this conversation. So they're putting everything set in stone to where like in 10 years from now, who knows? Atalanta might be the best team in Serie A history. And are they going to get a spot? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
Sorry, let me just jump in there. So one of the reasons why they want to do this tournament, let's just keep this in mind. One of the main reasons is because these teams in particular have huge assets that they can exploit, huge streams of revenue that they can exploit in order to maintain their status as top European teams. And that is what is being prevented. That is the main reason why they want to do the Super League. Because in order to maintain a team like Real Madrid, you have to they're losing what Perez said, he's losing 200 million a year.
Yeah.
And the current UEFA format, even if you win the league, doesn't allow you to recoup that money. So this is the main reason why they want to do it.
Yeah, I agree. And something you said, Joe, I don't see, I mean, these big brands, I mean, they're the reason for the success of football. Even the ones like Tottenham and Arsenal that haven't won anything. I mean, they're the reason. I mean, yeah, I'm in Utah, in the middle of the United States.
Yeah.
And I can walk down the street and see Harry Kane jerseys way before I'll see a Kessie jersey. I mean, they carry a lot of clout. I think the success, the financial success of these teams bears a financial success on the rest of the footballing world, especially in Europe. I mean, that's why that's why UEFA doesn't want to lose these teams, because if they do, they're screwed. A lot of their revenue, like we were talking about in the chat, will go to the ESL. A lot of those sponsorships will go to the ESL. I think they went about it the wrong way. They were sneaky about it. It was very weird. They put it out in the middle of the night. I mean, it's obviously really skeezy. I like the idea because I want to see UEFA broken up, and something like that could break up UEFA. And I was thinking this was a way for them to get to a real negotiating table and a real negotiating position with UEFA, put their backs against the wall. I mean, what are they going to do? Ban everyone from participating in the Euros? What? And all of a sudden, half the best players on all these teams that are participating in the Euros aren't going to be on those squads. They're going to lose a lot of viewers and revenue that way. I thought we were in a good position to bargain. Maybe, I don't want the ESL as it was proposed, but the fact that the ESL existed was hope that we could break up UEFA and build something better and free the shackles of FFP. So teams like Atalanta don't have to have a one time in the entire history of their club where they have some success. If they fail and Gasperini passes away, who knows when Atalanta will ever be good again? Maybe never.
And I want to reiterate something you said right there, which is absolutely true. There's absolutely no way FIFA or UEFA is going to ban these players that play in those competitions from the international competitions, because these players are one of the reasons that add the revenue to UEFA. UEFA doesn't have all the cards as the way they're making it. The perception is wrong. UEFA doesn't have all this bargaining power. The teams have more bargaining power. Right now, UEFA has the people on their side, even though maybe the people are not so much aware of it. But that is one thing that I'm seeing. Joseph, go ahead.
Well, I agree with everything you guys have said. UEFA is just it. I mean, when was it? Two or 3 years ago when we had that whole problem with FFP, and then we got a European ban, and then something happens where Man City or like a PSG, they do the same sort of thing, and they're fine. They can just do whatever they want. I agree with you. UEFA needs to change. And I'm glad to see. I think I saw people saying Seferin out was trending in the chat or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we gotta get that that trending. So, what was Joseph? What was your initial sentiment when you saw this proposal? Because you felt very strongly about it.
I thought it was literally just a bunch of wealthy owners who had no attachment to the game. Like they rarely attend the games. They don't. Some of them don't even know how it's played. And they just want to go and find a new revenue stream at the cost of the integrity of the sport. And as someone who wants to go into the field, like I told you, I was taking a tour of a college the other day. I want to get into this. Like that sounds like it's shutting down all the opportunities. Like that's the beautiful thing about soccer too, is there's so many clubs. I mean, it's not just like the US where you could either work at one of the NFL teams and there aren't really anything else there, you know? At least if I found like a job in like a SETI D team or something, if I was good, I could build them up and then get them to Champions League. I mean, that's given the current model that we have to get that money to then keep performing. And yeah.
Where are you from, Joseph?
Originally from New Jersey. I'm living in Colorado right now.
Nice, cool. So
Right
we got,
next door.
Yeah, man.
so we
Right
got,
on.
so we have Milan fans from America. That's awesome. How did you become a Milan fan, Joseph?
So I never liked soccer when I was a kid. Never really got into it. Never really watched it. I was very American that way. I grew up baseball and football. And then when I got to college, I went to a party and someone was playing FIFA. And I just sat down and picked up the controller. And the team that they had up there was Milan. And I said, hey, there's a guy in the team. His last name's Abate. And I said to myself, I'm going to pick this team and play with them and see how it goes. I beat the guy and I scored the last goal because I didn't know what I was doing. I brought Abate all the way up to the top, man. Like, and ever since I've been in love. I started watching when El Shaarawy was big, and I just don't want to see what happened with him to happen to Hauge, and because he looks like he has talent, you know. So
Yeah.
Hauge's not going to those parties though. He seems like a straight-laced kid.
Yeah.
Nice. So let me ask you guys, Pete, so you were talking about bargaining chips. Where do you see the future as far as what has happened recently, as far as the Super League and UEFA? What are your predictions?
I think it's really dim now for me anyway. Like I said, I'm pro ESL in the fact that insofar as it gave us a good spot to bargain from with UEFA. I mean, that's the only way you can hurt UEFA is to hit them in their pocket. I mean, you know, a Twitter hashtag Seferin out, while it'll make us all feel good, and while I agree, he'll just put up his middle finger, you know, and it won't do anything. We were in a good position to bargain, and then within 48 hours of the whole thing, I was excited. I was like, oh, nice, we're doing something, right? Something's happening. Everyone caved, and even Milan. It's not clear that we're out of it, but. You know, I mean, what are we going to do? You know, Maldini's already made public comments about it. You know, like, are we going to have to fire him to go forward? You know, I just don't think we're in a good position. We're not in the good bargaining position that we should be in and that I thought we were in. Everyone caved too quickly, in my opinion.
That's very true. If they wanted this to be, like you guys were saying, to twist the arm of UEFA, the fact that the biggest earners were out in 24 hours doesn't help.
Yeah. You poked the hornet's nest and then ran away with your tail between your legs and hope they don't throw sanctions on you.
And that would be the worst thing right now, is if somehow the performance on the field this year, that if we qualify for Champions League and they still ban us because of something not on the field but something at the higher level that even the Maldini didn't even know about. That's not fair, man. That's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It would break all. I mean, it would break all of our hearts. Like we can't have either. We can't have it either way.
Right. UEFA has too much power over these clubs. UEFA is nothing. UEFA is nothing without the clubs. The clubs don't need UEFA. UEFA needs the clubs.
Yeah, it's one thing, right? Like we're talking about the ESL, where you're taking, you know, these big teams want to make more money, right? UEFA literally takes revenue from everybody and then say it goes wherever they say it goes, but it doesn't really, to the development of the game in the third world or whatever. Like, I don't believe that for a second. Who believes that? And we pretend like we do, and this whole thing, most of the people I saw on Twitter, which is, you know, that doesn't say much for the world that I'm looking at Twitter, but everyone was on there, you know, backing UEFA to put sanctions. Like, let's give UEFA more power. You know.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you're not going to have anybody who wasn't a part of this not calling for sanctions. I feel like any team that wasn't involved, they're going to be, and their fans, they're going to be calling for sanctions on all of the people who are involved.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
I
actually,
get that.
and I want to say, Joseph, you bring a good point. The other problem is that we are just 12 clubs, but all the other clubs in Europe are hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands. So it's a small group of people against a big chunk of people. So that's a big problem too.
Yeah,
So
our
Joseph,
aim
let
was
me
wrong.
say what?
We're aiming wrong. We should be aiming at UEFA, not at each other.
Yes, exactly. And this is what I spoke about earlier. You have to ease it in. You have to use the media. You have to create the propaganda. To say a word that I don't like to use, you have to create the right kind of propaganda in order to let the people understand why they're doing it. Because the way it was done, I agree with Joseph. Like, it looks shady. It looks like, they're in it for themselves. Now, I've been following this thing for many years, so I kind of already knew why they were doing it. I already knew FIFA was FIFA. Guys, let me tell you something about FIFA. Okay, I remember watching a documentary of Sepp Blatter. Right? Remember when Sepp Blatter was the head of FIFA? He had his office, this incredible looking office, and right next door to his office, he had this room that looked like a chapel with marble walls and water sounds. These guys think they're gods. These guys have so much power and money at their disposal. They think they're gods. So we got to tell them, to chill out. But Joseph, so in these days, have you what have you been? How have you been processing this information in these days?
Well, it's interesting and kind of frustrating that it's no longer going through, which is something that I at first thought and still do think would be good. But we as a brand and our club is still kind of attached to it. So I don't really know how to feel at this moment. It's tough, I love wearing these colors proudly, and I don't want to have to change that if it,
Nice.
I don't think it will change.
It will. How many times have I been like, nah, man, fuck Milan, like they lose against, but then just 2 minutes later you forget about it and you're back into it,
And like I said, it's frustrating that it's all this stuff that the players have no control over, and that's the whole point of the sport. We're supposed to be watching what's happening on the field, not what the people in the boardrooms are doing.
Right. All right, guys. Well, listen, thank you very much for joining this. We're going to do this more often. We're going to have you guys come in and have these discussions. Eastbourne gave me a great idea here on Tuesday. So if you guys want to come back on Tuesday, please do so. We're going to have a Pioli in, Pioli out discussion. And maybe I'd love to do this where to get some of you guys in and whoever wants to discuss about these topics. But just to end this topic of the Super League. So, Joseph, you're still 50-50 about it. Pete?
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards I'd rather it not happen, but I would like for this same momentum to be angled towards UEFA and focused in on them the way that people are reacting,
Right. So you mean you would like people to be more, concerned about how UEFA is handling their business? Yeah.
And even with like the rules that they proposed for the Champions League, I hadn't read that until this whole thing broke out, and then I read those, and I don't agree with that either. I mean, I don't know. It's Pep said it well. Why don't they just give us extra days in the year? Give us 400 days in the year.
Right. Yeah. Pep was pretty critical of both UEFA and the Super League. While you, Pete, on the other hand, you like this idea. You think that these teams should have the freedom to be able to create their own league and exploit their assets to create the revenue they need in order to, maintain their status, etc. So you're more for it.
Yeah, but I'm more like everyone, all the teams, not the 12. All the teams in Europe should be able to exploit their assets and do whatever they want so the game can grow and, leave the bureaucrats out of it. Like, who are you? They don't know anything. Stay away.
100%. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining the stream. Thank you very much. Please come back on Tuesday. We'll do this again. We're going to create some topics, and whoever wants is welcome to come here and dish it out. But thank you for sharing your opinions. Pete from Utah, Joey from Colorado, Forza Milan, much appreciated.
Forza Milan.
Forza Milan.
You guys have any last words you want to say?
I take back one and a punch in the mouth.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you. Hey, Joseph, if I ever see you at a bar, I'm going to buy you a beer and we're going to celebrate Milan together.
Sounds good to me, man.
Thank you. How about you, Pete? Any last words?
No, I'm good. Keep doing what you guys are doing. I really enjoy the streams and all the content and the reviews. They're great.
Thank you, guys. And by the way, Ari is going to come back, and you're going to get. We haven't seen much of Ari, but Ari is coming back and Lyre. But guys, remember, Tuesday, come back on Tuesday. We're going to do this again. We're going to get your guys' opinion, and I want to hear what you guys got to say. All right, guys, thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thanks.
Let's take it easy, man.
All right, guys. Thank you to Joe and Pete. So we had two AC Milan fans from the U.S. that gave their opinions. You know, Joe a little bit more against it. Pete for it. Pete wants all the clubs to. I think at the end of the day, we all agree that the clubs should be free to do what they need. Anyway, guys. So I think we have finally found what we want to do for Tuesdays. Eastbourne, I love your idea. We're going to do this. Now I've been on live too much. I gotta go. Otherwise, I would have started sooner, and we could have got this going on earlier. But Tuesday, the topic is going to be Pioli in, Pioli out. And on Tuesday, I don't know if we're going to do it on Tuesday. Depends. We will see what day. It could be Wednesday. But I want to hear your guys' opinions, and I want to see you guys, go against each other, dish it out. If one guy thinks Pioli in and the other guy is Pioli out, go at each other, guys. It's all good. It's all love. We all love each other. Big family. Here are some comments. Joseph and Pete, you guys are amazing. Nice to hear your voice. Forza Milan. Joseph and Pete getting some love. Forza Milan, guys. Forza Milan. All right, guys. We've been going for 2 hours and a half right now. So we are going, unless, okay, let me do this. I'm going to give two more people a chance if they want to say anything. Does anybody else wants to come in and give their opinion of the ECL? Let me know right now. Let's give one more person. And then the next stream is going to be solely dedicated to this practice. Are there any takers? Anybody wants to come live on stream? Give me their views on the ECL. No? I think Ibrahim Adini, did you want to come on? Well, okay, guys. So I guess thanks. You're next, Ismail. Yeah, Ismail, if you want to come on, let me know. But otherwise, guys, we're going to dedicate a stream for you guys to come online and dish it out. And and it doesn't matter. You can come online a million times. It can be if Pete, you want to come back, you're always welcome. Anybody who wants to come back and face these topics and dish it out with anyone, you guys are always welcome here on the Rossoneri TV channel. All right, guys. So amazing stream today. I had a lot of fun with everybody. Forza Milan, like always. Rossoneri forever. Whether we're last, whether we're first, whether it's the ECL, UEFA Champions League, Super Cup, whether it is the European Cup, whether it's the Coppa Italia, whether it's just a friendly game, it's always nothing but Forza Milan. Forza Milan per sempre. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. We shall see you next time. Ciao.